Hi, my name is Ryan. Today I'd like to talk about narrative pacing in Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm a huge fan of the Kingdom Hearts series and enjoyed playing through the latest Wholesome Fest. But it wasn't without its problems. One of the things I want to talk about is narrative pacing, particularly in the endgame. Kingdom Hearts 3 does, fittingly, three things which complicate and undermine its attempts at wrapping up the series. The endgame is incredibly long, it hits the player with several emotional spikes in rapid succession, and it doesn't give the player time to breathe and process these spikes. This video contains major spoilers, so if you haven't finished the game, then consider playing through it before watching. If we're going to talk about the endgame, we need to acknowledge what has come before this point. Don't worry, I'll definitely not be recounting the entire plot of the series, but how Kingdom Hearts 3 unfolds its story to us is limiting when we consider what it tries to achieve to wrap this series up. As is standard in these games, Sora, Donald and Goofy travel from world to world, solving the problems caused by the Heartless. They meet Woody and Buzz in the world of Toy Story, they meet Anna and Elsa in the world of Frozen, and they meet Mike and Sully in the world of Monsters Inc. Though these visits are enjoyable, they are flimsily connected to the overarching plot. These levels only serve a couple of purposes: introducing a few of those Hellions from Organization 13, and to continue on the tradition of Disney worlds in the series. Sora visiting these worlds to become stronger and to find the power of waking is in itself an uncompelling and flimsy narrative motivation. This becomes problematic for the endgame as he is almost entirely separated from the events which lead up to the final battle. In between each world visited, the player is treated to a series of cutscenes that give an insight into what some of the other characters are doing: Axel, Kairi, Riku and Mickey. Sora only has sporadic contact with the latter two. Other than that, he is mostly isolated from the wider events and characters. Even though this is a multi-game series where many characters have interacted over the years, there is a narrative distance created when Sora is not able to take part in the larger events in the current game. Cutscenes can be really good when used properly, but besides a cursory phone call, the main character isn't even in them interacting with the other members of the cast or contributing to their efforts. This narrative structure has an effect when it comes to the endgame of Kingdom Hearts 3. Our heroes all come together for the first time and head out to the Keyblade Graveyard for the final showdown with Master Xehanort. Now, when coming to the end of any game, or the final boss, there can be a lot of emotional tension. It's the conclusion, the denouement. Taking a break halfway through would kind of kill some of that tension and emotional build-up. One of the problems with the endgame of Kingdom Hearts 3 is that it can be between 3 and 4 hours long. Not only is that a long time to sit constantly fighting bosses, but the character arcs the game tries to tie up demands a lot of emotional attention from the player. So the player is stuck in this weird area where the narrative structure demands continuing forward, but doing so is quite exhausting. What follows in this endgame is a series of emotional spikes that drag the player through quite a bit. Sacrifices are made, characters perish, are then resurrected, self-identities are fought, characters are kidnapped, characters are reunited, characters return from the dead, characters perish, again. Even though Kingdom Hearts 3 has isolated Sora from these characters, any of these individual plot points could justifiably define an entire game, or chapter of a game, but they are presented as insular events which are contained to the 3-minute cutscene which spawned them. That's a problem. A 3-minute cutscene is not long enough to process Donald Duck casting a spell so powerful that it kills him. Very little time is given to breathe, yet the game expects these cutscenes to create moments of emotional poignancy, which they do, but that's conflicted with the player character not having encountered any of these characters for the past 40 hours. A surprising example where characters and players are given the time to breathe is in the most recent God of War game. It's a game packed with family drama and the trials which tie them together. There are long periods of travelling, which gives the player all the time they need to process and appreciate the developing character arcs. We aren't given that time in Kingdom Hearts 3. We aren't given room to breathe. We aren't given the opportunity to interact with these beloved characters before the end. But we are relentlessly confronted with emotional spikes in the form of rapid plot advancements. It's a little like this wavelength. A long period of unfulfilling silence, followed by solitary drum beats in quick succession. Sure, it can be exciting after a whole lot of nothing, but there's a better way to structure that song. Kingdom Hearts 3 relies too heavily on an emotional connection players may have made with characters from the series up to this point. The assumption of emotional connection is crazy when we consider that the last entry in the series was in 2015, and the last one that had any of the main characters was in 2012. We can still feel emotionally connected to these characters after such a long period of time, but when Kingdom Hearts 3 doesn't build on any of these relationships, then that connection is dulled somewhat. Now don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Kingdom Hearts 3 and I was close to tears at several points during the endgame, but this endgame structure loses the emotional poignancy and relevance in the series that it could have had. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to check out my last video on the Resident Evil 2 remake and Fear Through Constraint, then click on the link in the video. If you'd like to be notified for when my next video drops, then click on the subscribe button.